Hey, welcome back to another episode of A to Z, guys. It's nice to see you again. Once again, we come from different places because you know what's going on. Has him over there and me over here. Distance, safety, wash your hands, all that stuff. My name is Zero Remsen. I'll be your resident Yin. I believe Yin. One day I'm gonna get it down. Yin. I'm gonna go with Yin until I'm wrong. And if somebody thinks I'm wrong, put it in the comments so from I can ignore it. Yin as the light, and Aaron Chase to my bottom right, or wherever I put him on the screen, as our resident Yang, the dark. And as you know, we have very similar personalities, except I lean positive, and he leans realist is the word I'm going to use. And
Sure.
so today's episode, we're going to be talking about something kind of special, you guys, because we've had this project that we started working on while this was all going on, as many creatives have been doing since being stuck in their house, because they can't just sit down. They can't just go to sleep. We got to keep making stuff. So what we're doing is we're releasing an EP. I'll let Aaron say a little bit because I'm doing a lot of rambling. So Aaron, you gotta.
Yeah, I don't know.
You were the originator of this idea. So
Was I?
yeah, because I mean you were the one who got the engine of it going, where you're like pulling the ripcord on the lawnmower to make it go. Like you threw out after the first podcast that I did on you guys' thing that you wanted to do music, but it wasn't until the whole everybody has to be stuck somewhere thing that you were like, hey, we should do that now.
Yeah, I usually the guy that pulls the ripcord. Yeah. So basically, I guess I want to make music. I know Zero makes music, and I think it's going to be fun releasing it because I don't think people realize that we are actual musicians. Like people think. When a comedian like I'm gonna make a song, they think Lonely Island or something kind of goofy. I don't think people are expecting it to sound like music.
Right.
You know what I
mean?
Right. So I'm excited about it, and I think I don't know. I think the EP is a nice little example of what we could do in a real album with some time and some focus.
Right.
Quarantine. If we were in the same room together, I think there'd be more synergy. Right now, my main issue with it when I listen to it all the way through is that it's very clear like we're never in the same room together. It's very clear the way it's structured, like, all right, Aaron's turn to say things, Zero's turn to say things, and it goes back and forth. So in you listen to Earth Gang, right?
I actually don't. I don't know who that is.
Oh, do you know?
I'm also interested to talk about this specifically. Is our taste in music, I feel like, are on different sides of the spectrum entirely because of what you threw into the chat while we were talking about making it. Like, it was all this stuff that I had heard of, but I never took the time to actually listen to. Like, Dro, he's deep in it, so he knows all the stuff. But all the stuff was relatively new to me, except for Brockhampton. Brockhampton was the only one that, like, I knew. Everybody else was like, oh, this is what I would consider underground. Whereas all of my stuff is very mainstream, very pop culture.
I got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do a breakdown of our musical interest and history and how we got into music.
Okay.
What's black and What's black and you ride on? What does that mean?
It's a joke. What's black and you ride on? This is in the chat, you guys. For those of us watching it back later, Harrison, one of the commenters, put "What's black and you ride on." It's a setup for a punchline, but I can't think.
The punchline is I don't know.
A road.
Right.
It's a misdirection. We're talking about music today, Harrison. That's the topic that we're on right now. You were saying you wanted to talk about your history with music, like
like our backgrounds with it, to give some context. So, like, do you want to go first or want me to go first?
You go first, so I can get more of an understanding.
Okay. I actually remember the first song that I paid attention to on the radio was it was Warren G and Nate Dogg's Regulators. It was around Christmas time, and it came on the radio. And it was the few rap songs that my family seemed to have tolerated on the radio because it had that R&B flow to it. So it kind of tricked my family into being like, yeah, this will be fine. And they would play. I remember being in downtown Riverside as a kid, about to do What's Long, Black, and Wet. I don't know, Harrison, what's long, black, and wet? I remember, I remember being in downtown Riverside with the lights and everything, listening to Regulators, and being like, "Oh, this is dope. This is what I want to listen to." And so from there, I got really into like '90s hip hop. So Tupac, Biggie, Wu-Tang Clan, N.W.A., Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, all those guys.
Okay.
A Submarine. Keep them coming, Harrison. Keep them coming.
I feel like so many things can be this. These setups are all like what's long black and white. It's like so many things, and then it's like a submarine.
Do you know Harrison? You know Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison. So if you notice on my IG, there actually are two tracks that I did do, quote unquote. Harrison was a guy that I met via doing a live stream with Jerome, and he threw me some beats, and so I did some songs with that, and those are the songs that are in that. So, but you were saying, so I'm trying to see. Tell me if you can hear this, because I'd like to. I'm listening to it for my own context. I pulled up Regulate to see if I like because I can't think of it off the top of my head. And tell me if you can hear it playing through. If not, it's fine. But who's smashing the like button if it's only you in here?
I'm pretty sure it's Harrison.
It's weird. My thing said it was only one person.
I think it does that. It disappears. Are you playing it?
No. Well, kind of, but it's not.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
So then I was around high school. I went to YH Can. I don't know what I mean. So around high school, I was really into like mixtures of underground rap, pop punk, regular punk, ska, Irish punk like Dropkick Murphy and Flogging Molly, Rage Against the Machine, Primus. So it was all very aggressive, like heavy beat driven, lyrical driven music. And I'm sure when you listen to the EP, whoever listens to the EP, you're going to hear that clear influence from any of my verses. It's usually very aggressive and like flow influence. And I was really stubborn about rap. I was like a rap purist. So when Lil Jon, when like the South started coming up and Chopped and Screwed started happening, I was like, this isn't real rap. I was
You're an old head. I see.
I was an old head before old heads were old heads. I was ridiculous about it. And Harrison says, what vibrates and makes sounds? Keep them coming, Harrison. So I just, yeah, man, like I was just really into like aggressive, lyrical, underground hip hop. And then around college was when I softened it a little bit. I'm going to say Tyler, the Creator, which was not soft at the time.
Yeah, I'm like, he softened you? Like, when Tyler first came out, he was not soft at all.
Harrison says a bumblebee. Good job, Harrison. So
with Harrison is hilarious to me.
I actually remember when Yonkers came out, and I watched that music video over and over again. Like I loved Tyler.
That's interesting because I had the opposite reaction. When I first saw Tyler, it creeped me out. It like, thank you. It was like just everything he was doing and saying. It just like that, and like I kind of got it, like, or I didn't get it, and so like for me it was like, he's doing the like extra, like just it felt like not a spectacle. It felt like spectacle-esque, that it was like, and then he eats a roach, and then he's rapping about Bruno Mars and these people, and at the time no rapper was like calling anybody out, let alone pop stars. So it was like, oh, he's he doesn't like pop music, like he's an old head too, and he thinks that rap and music is supposed to be a certain way. So I put a bunch of stuff on him, and I was like, I don't like him. And then I started listening to the other stuff he had, and it also just went more and more like dark, and like just like the one song that he had that was like it was really rough. But then weirdly enough, the song that turned me around on it, which is again just my pop influence, is like Her. with Frank Ocean. Even
Yeah.
though that song was dark, it still had melodies and stuff I could rock with. And
Yeah.
then like there were certain lines that hit a little bit more. Like what's the part? I just want to talk to you and conversate because I usually just talk you and masturbate. And I like the way that that came together. And that's when I turned on him a little, but it wasn't until way later that it wasn't until Wolf that I was like, oh, okay. And then I was about it.
Tyler was definitely one of the. Tyler reminds me of me in a lot of ways, and I think that's why I gravitated towards him. Was that when you're younger, Harrison says Flower Boy album is great, and I agree. Like when Tyler and I seem to have similar sensibilities, and I'd imagine we were both younger. There's this confusion and frustration, and so the music comes that way. And
How old were you when you found Tyler?
I was 19, 20.
Okay, so just a little younger than him.
Yeah, I'm maybe a couple months younger than him.
Okay, okay.
Which also threw me off. Like that was the first moment I got a hit of like, oh, people are becoming successful at my age now. Like I need to do something.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything, but that's a whole other thing. Molly is a great song and Wolf. I agree, Harrison. Keep them coming, Harrison. Keep them coming. So so then as I got older, I gained more of appreciation for when I was 18, I taught myself bass guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was my 18th birthday. I got $200, and I was like, I want to buy a bass guitar because I watched I Love You Man. Have you seen I Love You Man?
Yes.
Remember?
Really... Yeah.
I shit you not. That was the only reason I wanted to learn bass. And so,
what a cartoony reason.
Yeah, and so I was gonna go buy a bass guitar. Then my mom started telling me, "Don't buy a bass guitar." And
made you want a bass guitar more?
No. Then I was gonna, because she had been doing that my entire life of like, hey, I want to do this. Nah, fuck you. Don't do that. And so I was about to get defeated. I was about to be like, fine, whatever. And then my friends were like, no, man, if you want to buy a bass guitar, we'll go with you. And then that was the first step away from my mom's bullshit, like in a really big way, where I realized like, oh, I'm not a fucking idiot. Like I know how to learn things, like on my own. I can learn things if I'm interested. And bass guitar was one of those things. So then time goes on, and through bass guitar, I got an appreciation for jazz and blues and funk. And then, music and time changes. But that's essentially my musical timeline.
Okay. I'm trying to think of, off the top of my head, my very first soiree into music was like Disney movies. Like all the classic 2D Disney movies and like their musical hits. Those were the ones that first were like, yeah, these are songs that I'll put on my CD and I'll listen to them. And I remember my first CDs were, this is going to sound completely opposite of what I just said. So I started with Disney music, and then somewhere I hit into 90s pop. So like NSYNC, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Backstreet Boys, all of them started hitting me. So my very first CD that I can remember was Christina Aguilera, no, NSYNC, No Strings Attached. And I used to bump that on my CD player all the time. The next CD that I got was Christina Aguilera's Come On Over, whatever album that was on. But my aunt messed up and got the Spanish version. So I listened to all her songs in Spanish for some reason. Still hits, just different. And then after that, I ran into Mario, the R&B singer. The one who's like, I want to know your name. Dun, 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 dun. It was like, and you say he's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you. That thing. Like, so I played him on repeat, and it's great stuff. I still love Braid My Hair. But all that stuff was good. And then there was a shift, but not full shift. So when 50 Cent dropped, it was like my stepbrother, who I looked up to a lot. He used to play him a lot. And I was still in my like super, like, you think I'm Goody Two Shoes now? As a kid, I was like the most little prudy, like, oh, he said a dirty word. That's not good. Like, and so like listening to 50 Cent uncensored was like, oh, okay, but like the beat's still cool.
Candy
And
Shop? Which one? In the club?
the
Which?
first one, the one with him on the, I can't remember what it's called.
Ah,
One with
yeah, yeah. I know.
him on it. Yeah, the one with like in the club and man,
Classic.
so many hits. Yeah, the classic. And so
Yeah.
listen to that one for a while. And again, so my basic thing is like any popular song that came on the radio in those eras from like the 90s through I would say all the way up to like yeah, middle school, like 7th grade and middle school is when I can remember switching over to my own taste. And the reason that I switched over to my own taste is because nerd, I started getting into the internet. Internet led me to videos of cartoons, specifically anime. Anime led me to AMVs. AMVs usually had like pop punk or rock or music in it because they're fight scenes. Nobody's using like rap to do fight scenes unless you count Linkin Park. So this is where I started getting into like Linkin Park, System of the Down, uh, Panic at the Disco, any of the stuff in the early 2000s that you could have seen like anime characters fighting to, that was my jam. And
Right.
so like I played that. That was like my main thing for a while. And then it wasn't until college that like I started slipping into rap. And literally it sounds so cliche, but like because I know what I look like. But my friend, so here's the story. This is the story of
All
my
about.
relationship with Donald Glover. So
Okay.
so I was living a normal life. High school senior year, I get the chance to go to I go out of state for a forensics tournament. When we're in the car ride to go out of state for the forensics tournament, this kid sitting next to me, very smart, very cool kid. He's like, "Hey, have you heard of this guy? He's on this show called Community." I'm like, "I've never seen Community. I don't know what any of that is." He's like, "Here, just listening to this thing." He's just like, "No, there's this one line that I really like." And he's like, he plays it through, and I'm kind of like listening. I'm like doing the nice friend thing where you're listening, but like, you're like, yeah, it's not bad, but it's like, I don't care. And it's like, the line where he's like, man, what was it? It's like stacking paper, Dunder Mifflin. It was like a Dunder Mifflin line,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, hey, an Office reference. That's cool. I've never heard someone in a rap song make references I relate to. Like all
Yeah.
the raps that I hear is like, freaking, they made money and they get girls. It's like I don't know any of that life. That's not what I know. That's why I relate to pop punk music is because they talk about like girls that I like, and if I show you the world, then that's my thing. Like that's I relate. But like he dropped that. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Then I let it go out of my head for the rest of senior year. Then I went to school. It wasn't until what was it? It was like no, it was halfway through senior year. I found him on my own some other weird way and started actually listening to his lyrics. And it sounds like a dumb thing, but I feel like everybody in that era of rap still we were still all under that influence of like we know what rap is. Like rap is like violence, gun, women. Like that's and drugs. Like that's the thing that rap is. But then there was this shift where everybody had the realizations like, oh, they're saying stuff. And then you like listen to their lyrics and you're like, oh, that's actually pretty sick. So I started listening to Donald Glover's lyrics, and obviously I related to him the heaviest. And then I locked into him, and then it was me and him rocking all the way up into college. Freshman year of college, I ran into my best friend and producer on the album, looping it back around, guys. EP, he's the one who's producing the EP, Drove by the Key. I ran into him in college, and I was listening to it in the lobby of our college dorms, and he came down and he was like, "Who you listen to?" I was like, "Oh, this is Childish Gambino." He's like, "Oh, you like Childish Gambino?" And he like started trying to relate to me about rap music, which at the time he's literally Donald Glover was like the only rapper I really rock with. So I'm like, "Yeah, no, totally." And then that was my friend. And so then he showed me more and more rap people, and as time came along, I just started opening my mind to like what all rappers were saying, and same with R&B artists. And then The Weeknd dropped, and he even more opened my ideas of like, oh, he's saying stuff, but it also sounds really nice. Like I could not listen to his lyrics and it's fine, and I would still love his stuff. But when I listen to his lyrics, it like hits deeper. And so that's been my journey with music. And now I'm pretty much I don't really happen upon new music. Like this is something we were talking about with the marketing side of our thing, is like more people than not just have music kind of happen to them now. Like if your friend group isn't already bumping the thing, then the odds you're gonna find that thing are so low. Like they'll throw up ads of like, here's a new song, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, swipe. Like it doesn't even matter even when you put that kind of money. It's like it seems more and more that people don't really choose what they like. They just kind of like whatever's put in front of them, and you put it in front of them enough, then they go, oh yeah, that's good. That is good. Like we all didn't choose. And again, this is no shade to those people. They all work very hard. Anybody in any industry who gets to a level, I respect to the highest degree. But we all didn't choose to listen to Blueface. Blueface was like a thing that everybody was pushing and was like, look at this guy, look at this guy. And whether you were like, I don't really like his thing, or you were like, oh, I really like his thing, you didn't have a choice but to have an opinion. And then they just kept hitting you with it until either your opinion was, all right, it's fine, or, oh, he's the dopest. And it's like, it's rarely up to you. And so I fall in this weird pocket where I both understand that, but I'm not above falling into that. Like, I'll dislike a song when it first comes in the club, but after they play it several times, I'm like, yeah, it's playing, dope. And then I know where the beats hit and all this stuff. So I'm very much like, I'm the opposite of underground. Like, I'm so much into pop music. Like, popular culture, I actually rep really hard.
I think that's why this EP is gonna mesh well.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, listening to it, I don't think it's amazing. I know we could do better if given the opportunity and the time and the space for it. But it is definitely listenable, which is kind of weird to hear. Like, have you ever made anything like this?
Huh?
Have you ever made anything like this?
Like this specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Kinda. But again, it's one of those, like, there's a lot of different projects that I've had that just didn't go anywhere. I mean, you know that whole songing game. And so, like, yeah, it wasn't necessarily this style. Like, I would say, like, I don't think I've done anything with somebody that raps like you do or with the topics that you do, but I have done with somebody whose style is the opposite of mine, that isn't as, like, melody-based as mine. It's more about, like, the context.
I actually made, I'm not going to tell you what it's called on here because I don't want people to. I made an album with some friends when I was about 18, 19, maybe 20. Whew. Yo, it was like, first off, they dictated the feeling of the album. So they were into science fiction and space and Star Trek and shit. So it had, what's up?
I said, okay. I'm trying to understand that as a context of music. Like, science, like, as soon as you say that, my brain goes to, like, Daft Punk. Like, that's...
No.
Okay.
If Captain Kirk rapped...
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting. Somebody called them nerds.
Yeah. I mean, they were just really into sci-fi. So the album, and they were both the producers. I was just rapping on it. Right. So their whole thing was science fiction, and it has this, like, it feels like you are in, if you are in the Guardians of the Galaxy spaceship, this is the music they'd be playing. It just sounds like it's in space. It's weird. Okay. And all of this, it was during a time when, like, if you think I'm angry now, oh, Aaron, I can't see this. You don't need to see it. You don't need to listen to it.
He's trying to keep it that way.
Yeah.
But sadly, if anything goes according to plan and we get to where we're going to get to, people will find it.
Yeah. Either way, whatever. I'm one of them. All right. Have fun looking. But it, like, this was when I was way angrier. I had less maturity. I didn't have control over my emotions. Oh, fuck. Shit.
So he knows what it is. So this is one of the
producers.
Wow, this is meta.
Yeah, AJ, I didn't know that was your fucking handle. Yeah, I made an EP with this dude. So when it comes out, I'll send it to you. He's one of the guys. Dude, how would you describe the album? Because I was like, I went off on people. How do you get a nun pregnant, Harrison? I don't know. Can you answer it? Go for it. But I went off on people.
Okay.
I
like you name dropped.
No. But if
you were making diss tracks on a science album,
I said way over the line shit. Like,
oh, no.
I went after an ex-girlfriend's dad
and
family in the meanest, vicious, like, you remember the Drake versus Drake Pusha T? You remember how Pusha T? What's up?
Do you mean Meek Mill or Pusha T? Because those are two totally different but equally brutal rap battles.
Pusha T.
Okay, Pusha T.
Like, he should not have been bringing up that guy's son.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate. You're bringing in a child to a rap battle. That's not okay. And I
would just like to say is somebody pointed this out in I can't remember what chat it was. No, that's what it was. I went down a diss track rabbit hole because I was like, it was in the era of Pusha T. And I went from Pusha T to the Meek Mill one to like famous rap battles of all time, like people who beefed. And like I went to the comment section of like, I think it was Ice Cube to NWA or something. And it was like, man, and kids today no, it was the Tupac song. The one against Biggie, like, you in the clique you claim. And I was like, and then someone in the comments was like, and people think people nowadays like are going over the line. And then I listened to Tupac's lyrics. I'm like, they right. He didn't give any cares. He said, I had said, like his whole first part of that before he didn't even like now rappers won't even say the name of the person that they're talking about. Yeah. Like then he straight up called out the crew. He said, I had sex with your wife. I don't with any of y'all. I was like, holy.
Harrison, Johnny Depp, Boba Fett. Wait, hold on. This chat got weird. AJ said, Boba Fett listening to music when he's depressed and on drugs. That's a good way to describe the album.
Okay.
And then Harrison says, Johnny Depp, Boba Fett, Elizabeth Little, Check Lavish. I don't know what's happening. I think I had a stroke. Anyway, yeah, man, I just, in terms of my maturity, I just wasn't mature enough to express the music in a way that wasn't so blunt, so mean.
Do you think you had bars at the time?
I thought I did.
Okay. Have you gone back and listened to it at all?
I have.
Okay.
A couple years ago. Say it all rhymes. See, this is like when someone tries to pick apart a joke and they read the joke and it doesn't have the same,
right?
Like you know what I mean? Anyway,
like I believe you can flow it very well. we reading it is gonna just destroy it.
Johnny Depp, Bob. Fuck. I'm sorry.
You are better than me, my guy. You're gonna take an attempt. What was it? What was I saying? There was.
It's not a joke.
Oh yeah, your thing. So you're saying you thought you did, but you're a little embarrassed of it now.
I think considering that I'd never really rapped before on anything, and I was young, I think considering that it was like, oh shit, that's not that bad. Yeah. But as a 28-year-old man listening back to it, I'm sure I'd be disgusted with myself. And I, anytime I listen to things from 2 weeks ago and I'm disgusted with myself. So,
well, okay.
Harrison said, "It's white and little." Go for it, Harrison. What were you saying, Zero?
I was gonna say, saying I released a couple. They're not project. I used to do just like singles, and literally it was like at the same time Dro was working on beats. And so I'm not ashamed of mine, though I don't think they're amazing. I don't think they're good. They're not mixed well, but there's still some melodies there. And the things I'm talking about are very cliche. Again, they're very pop music. So like, if you want to see it, just search Zero Rimson and SoundCloud. I'm the only thing that would ever come up, and it's all exactly what you think it is. Just imagine somebody figured out reverb. Like somebody learned about reverb and delay and was like, this is why I don't sound good. And then just made a bunch of songs. because
Yeah.
I've had this Yeti mic since then, and this is the same thing I record all my stuff on. But like that's what it is, and I didn't use any sort of padding or like noticing the sounds or how loud I should be.
What do you think career wise? I mean, I don't think this EP is going to blow up or anything,
Yeah,
but career wise, as comedians, what do you think we can do with music that will help that'll go together? Like, there's something that Gambino's done
yeah,
very well. He's made it so that he is a musician and he is a fucking everything. But let's just leave it to music and comedy. He's
yeah,
done the thing that works really well together that I'd like to do.
yeah.
Like,
I think. Oh, you go ahead. Finish your thought.
okay, like for instance, having a rap name. I'm not gonna be as the rapper. I'm not Aaron Jakes because I
Okay.
don't want that to be connected.
Uh,
So like, how can we? How do you think we can make them separate but parallel? And how do you think we can take the music since we can't do stand up right now? How far do you think we could take the music thing? And what would be our strategy?
so, in order of questions, one, honestly, I think the name thing's a very technical way to look at how he separated it. But I think more than anything, he was just honest about it. I think he was just very straight, cut and dry, and was like, "Hey, like whenever if you go back, you can find him on the internet. People secretly recorded his "I am" Wu
Carly,
Tang Ninja. Yeah, yeah.
yo, are you down? Because I
I
said I'm
already, I already know mine. It's. I think it's something Donkey Kong. It's not good.
okay.
Uh, but like he yeah, you could do that way, but I think he really superseded it by being honest. Because if you watch his I Am Donald Chores that people actually recorded, he just gets on stage and he has a joke within his stand up that's like, yeah, this is the part where I go do music and I understand that's weird. Nobody wants to hear a comedian do music, but I'm going to do it now. And then he does his music separately. So it's just I think people, especially now, because like honestly, we like multi-talented people. It's hard for us to comprehend a little bit because we like boxing people in. It's just easier to understand. But like, if you just do it honestly, like that's the problem. If it would be more, it's a problem for little Dicky because like he is so funny that people are having a hard time taking it seriously. But like, he's just saying that's just me. Like that's why everyone still wants to put him in the comedy box because he is so funny. But when people listen to you rap, there's not a joke to be found in there. There's not a funny thing to be said. Which, to be fair, if I'm being honest, I think plays to your detriment because I think that is a part of you. But like, I get it. Like as far as the music stands right now, I think those two things will naturally separate. Again, I'm not against you having a rap name either, but I personally I'm gonna stick with Zero Remsen across the board just because it is all me. I'm gonna have parts in my music that are funny the same way I'm gonna have parts in my comedy act that are serious. Like as long as I'm honest, like once I'm doing the songs, and I think as far as like performance wise, if you were talking like, oh, when do we do music? When do we do freaking comedy? I think it would be a nice like you could do it as we could be our own openers. Like you know how you guys used to have musicians come on and they would do this first half and then comedians would come on after that. We could just do the first half as musicians and then bring us up as comedians. That's the simple thing to me. I
The
did.
neo the neo hippie says y'all watch the new Louis C.K. special. I did as well.
I did. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was his best by far. I preferred the 2017 one he released before he got in trouble, but I did like it.
I There's something I learned about that special recently, but we'll talk about it later because I'm trying to stay focused on the
Yeah,
music.
focus on music. We'll talk about it.
The neo hippie, just for context, right now we're talking about this EP that we're dropping on the 25th. Come check it out. So we're going to stay in that lane, just so you know. Um, but yeah, in terms of performance, man, you'd be down to perform this stuff live because I would.
Yeah, I think we would have to ease people into it. Like obviously we can't perform all the songs, but like pick like maybe two. That's like a 10-minute set, and then like just put it on the front end of like a show, you know.
I think. How long is the EP going to be, roughly?
The EP altogether, as it stands right now, even if all songs are 2 minutes, that would be 12. But I don't think every song is 2 minutes. I think I think most of the songs are like 3-4.
Because I say that because we could, I don't want to say the place. You're gonna know the place though. The place that all the comics in the IE know for stand up comedy. You know what I'm
Giant
saying?
Tree?
Tuesdays. Yeah, Giant Tree.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'm very close with the manager there, and I'm sure when all this is over, he's gonna want entertainment out the ass. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking we could just perform there to practice and
Yeah.
bring people out and do. It could just be music, or maybe we could book another music act so we could just do music that day. That'd be kind of cool if you're
Well,
up
see,
for.
that's the thing. I'd rather have it be. I don't want it to be separate. Like I mean, I do want it to be separate. I want when we do music that they respect it as music, and when we do comedy, they respect it as comedy. But at the same time, I don't want it to be like, okay, this day I'm just doing music. This day I'm just doing comedy. It's like I want if we're gonna do that, I'm more than down to do that. But if we're doing that, I say we make it synergistic so that
Oh,
it's not competing. Because at a certain point, you do make it like, oh, they're doing the music thing. Like Bino had this problem. This is a very meta problem, and it's
oh,
like after like years of fame. So he got booked to do a show as a DJ, and they put him on the poster as a musician. So he came in to DJ, play other people's songs, but then everybody was like mad because they were like, we bought the tickets because we wanted to see you perform, and you're
right,
just playing other people's hits. And he was like, no, I was getting paid to be a DJ tonight. But he went ahead and performed a couple things because he felt bad for the people that did pay to see him. But
right.
like, I don't want that mix up. I don't want people to be like, I'm here to watch them do music. What comedy? I'm here to watch them do what music? It's like I want people to know that we do both.
Do you think we could set up a show then where you and I, maybe we'll get another comic, one of the Buddy System comics, Will or George or something. We'll have comedy. It feels like comedy should go before music.
You think? I mean, we can test it. I really don't care about order.
My logic is just it's easier to go from laughter to like music than it is the opposite way, I feel like, but I don't know. Either way,
Well, yeah, I'm fine to test the theory.
yeah, we could set up I mean, I know how to set up shows at this point and produce them. Do you know how to do that? Have you done that yet?
Yeah. I just again, I found my weaknesses in that, and a lot of it, the 2 or 3 shows that I did put on, they mostly fell apart because of bad communication with management.
Okay. Well, we could work together on it and then set up a
It was nice seeing you.
ZAJ. We'll talk. I'll message you after this. Yeah, man. I'm thinking we could once shit settles down, all the yada yada yada. We could set up a show somewhere, and I can fix the communication part with management. I'm really good with that. And we could set up a show that's buddy system with music. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, I'm down. Uh, what was I gonna say? So what? Okay, what? If you had to say what would you say your goal with the EP is? Like, what do you want a person that listens to it to feel having walked away? Do you care? Are you like just take it for what it is? How do you? What were you trying to convey, or what do you want to convey?
What
What's
I'm trying to
the
I think part of it is the petty part of me, and you're going to hear. I think when you listen to it, there's a lot of pettiness that you can feel within some of the raps.
okay?
Particularly the last one. The pettiness in me wants people to hear it if they know me and they know my comedy. I want them to hear it and be like, "Oh shit, huh? He really, really like this is not a game. This is he's really rapping. This really
Right.
is a thing." So if you know me, I would like that to be the reaction. If you don't know me at all for comedy, you don't know me as a person, I would like the reaction to just be enjoyment, just to hear it and be like, oh, I want to listen. I want to keep listening to this. I relate to this. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. What about you?
Yeah, same. I mean, mostly mine is just enjoyment. I have way less of an attachment to the idea of it being real music or not. I just don't subscribe to that theory in general. Like
Yeah.
I do consider Lonely Island a legitimate band. I consider every band that makes me laugh. I feel like that's a very, very intense skill if you can manage to pull that off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it does take a certain amount to like, yes, when you decide to go funny, you don't have to focus so much on how good it is as a song.
Yeah.
But I still think that's a very, very, very specific skill. But so to me, I never had that. So I'm like, yeah, my baseline is just enjoy it. Like, just enjoy it, man. Like, I don't, again, it's like you said up top. It's like, I don't expect this to do numbers or anything. It's just like, honestly, it's just like, we did a thing. Here's a thing. I hope you listen to it. We created a thing. I hope you enjoy the thing that we've made. Don't ignore it. But like, that you even gave it a one-time through, I'm proud.
This is the yin and yang part of us. So I'm going to give you the negatives.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, the positives is I agree with you. I have this thing where, and I think you've noticed it, it's a half and half. Half of me is very positive and like, yeah, fuck it. I just want you to enjoy it. And the other half of me has something to prove.
Right.
And I think that half is because I've been put in tiny boxes my entire life. I don't know if you felt it, but people have just been people say like, people look at me as very one-dimensional, I think. And so this is a side of me that I don't think most people understand even exists.
Right.
And so and this is something I got to work on. Like, and I think I've been doing a lot better at it with just focusing on myself and caring less about what other people think. Like when it comes to stand-up, I care very little about what other people think of my comedy. Okay. So if other comics don't like me, which I know they don't, they even let me know. If other comics don't like me or my material, it is what it is. But with music, it's newer, and I know that that's a new hill to climb. And so there's something about it that feels more personal to me if someone does not like or at least respect the music. Okay. Which I think is interesting. Saying it out loud is the first time I've even really thought about it in this way.
Yeah. And so it's because it's something new that so where comedy now you've kind of built up a like thick skin to. Yeah. Music is a new way of expressing who you are, and nobody's ever even seen it, let alone like had the moment to critique it or say that it's not music or is music. So it gives you a like, you feel like you have to prove that it is music first and foremost.
Yeah, and part of that, so I think, and this has negatives and positives too. I think the negatives are that it's like that's not healthy, man. Like art is art. Put yourself out there and leave it and it is what it is. Right. But the other part makes me hungry and excited. And like, I think there are some of these bars that I make where I come out swinging because I know that I'm going to be under a lot of scrutiny with it from the people who know who I am. Yeah. And so I flip-flop between this free-spirited artist type that's like music and like aggressive, competitive, mean part of me that's like, but fucking music. So
right. Yeah. That's always a thing I found interesting. And once again, we come back to a place of like our background totally different. Where again, I like you asked me earlier, the only box that I could say I was possibly put into is like recently, and it's not really even a box because that dude's box is so big. The only box is a Gambino box. Like people think that I'm him or like I'm some version of him, and it's like it's fine. Again, and I think I address it in one of the songs. Is like I can't be mad because that dude's the GOAT. Like he's amazing. I get it. I take it as a high compliment, but also I'm me, and so it's like we just relate very heavily. It's not that we're the same, but that's the only box. And even then, it's like okay, like yeah, I mean. Like okay, sure. I guess I am like I have similarities, so I don't feel like I had to prove anything because everybody has always been like, yeah, you're doing it. like everybody's always been like, yeah, sure. This thing you did that you recorded on your phone, it sounds horrible. Good job, buddy. You made a thing, like a golden star. Which, like you said, it does have its downside. Like you said, I would hard argue. I think that's the same reason that why you made the buddy system, why it is where it is, and why you do push and all that stuff, because you're hungry. I don't have that. Like, I don't, I like literally, it's like, this is a nice thing that we're doing. I like it. It's fun. It's totally a thing. I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't care how, if people think it's real or not real. I don't care if people, like, I want people to like it, but if they don't like it, well, I could never control that. Because to me, I was never going to be, if I can't get everybody, then I don't plan on trying with anybody. Like, it's like, then, okay, then whoever's going to like it is going to like it.
I had a moment recently that I want to know what you're. Okay, I'm going to tell you what happened, and then you tell me how you would react to it.
Okay, we got 10 minutes.
All right. I was talking with an old friend from college, just catching up, and she told me about her life, and I said, yeah, still doing comedy, yada yada yada. And her response to that was, "You're still doing that? Like, you're still trying to do that comedy thing?" Okay. And she hasn't seen me in many years. She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know what my life has been like. Mm-hmm. But that's really insulting. I hear that a lot when I talk to people, like at work. Months will go by, and then they'll be like, I'll be like, yeah, I did a show last night. And then they'll be like, you're still doing that, your little comedy thing? And it's like, fuck you. Like, can you, if I was trying to be a surgeon, you wouldn't be like, you're still in school. What are you doing? Like, you wouldn't do that. Right. So part of me, when I hear that, it annoys me. It really annoys me, and it's insulting to me. It's like, are you saying I'm not talented enough? Are you saying I'm not harder? What are you saying? Like, you're really insulting me. And the other part of me is like, oh, I can't wait because I'm hungry. Like, there's a little piece of me that's like, I'm gonna show you. You'll see. And that also feels good. It's this weird balance that I try to hit, where I try not to lean too much on either, and I try to make nice and even, where I'm hungry, but this is also what I love to do regardless of what people think. So,
okay. So, yeah, for me, first of all, I'll say that, like, yeah, nobody's ever hit me like that. No, nobody's ever come at me like, you're still doing it? Like
I do it all the time. All the time.
I don't get that at all, but I think it's because, now, to be fair, again, it could be the circles I run in. Again, they very much like me and believe in me no matter what I do. I could stop doing all of this and tomorrow be like, you know what? I'm going to get into theater. I'm just going to go do theater. Like, I'm going to do a street mime thing. And everybody like, really? Street miming? Okay, well, whatever you doing, baby. Like, that's who the people I'm around are. Or my friends will be like, really? Street mime? That's a weird thing. And they're going to make fun of me. But, like, again, it's all good. It's all jokes. But, so first of all, I'll say, haven't experienced. But if I had experience, the way my brain interprets, are you still, you're still doing that? It would be like, yeah, like, yeah. Like, and I get it. Like, to me, I get it, because it's like, you're not me. And I get where I started and how I was before I knew what it takes to do it. And it does look easy. It looks like one of those things that's just like, either you got it or you don't got it. And it happens overnight. Like, everybody who's ever been famous puts in the work, but then they're famous. Like, nobody knows the behind the scenes. Very few people care to listen to Kevin talk about how it was 20-something years before anybody really knew his name like that. Like, everybody just sees you when you're on. They don't really see you when you're off. So I get it that, like, if I'm not already there and I said I was starting a couple months back and it doesn't look like I'm making exponential climbs, that I'm like, I did a show. Okay, now I'm at a theater. All right, now I'm on TV. If I'm not doing exponential landmarks, where to them, like, you would think like, oh, you stopped. Like, you must have stopped because it hasn't taken off yet. So I figured you stopped because it hasn't taken off. You haven't been talking about it, like all of that stuff. But I think I circumvent that both with the people I surround myself with and by constantly throwing it in people's faces. Like, the only thing I have on Facebook, Instagram, any social media is comedy, stand-up, skits, or music sometimes. So, like, there is no question if I'm still doing comedy because I'm still uploading comedy. Nobody thinks I'm like, where'd you get this footage? Are you still doing it? And you're just uploading old footage? It's like, no, it's clearly I'm still doing it. But like, it's people have no idea. Well, the long and short of what I'm saying is, in my register in my brain is, oh, you don't know. And yes, I'm petty too. Like, obviously, if they were coming at me like, you're not gonna do it, like, you're not gonna do it, you're gonna give up, then I'm also like, okay, all right, noted. All right, you'll see. Like, you're gonna see. Like, there's no world where you don't see it. And once you see it, you're gonna do that thing like, oh wow, he really did it. And they'll care about that much, and then they'll keep it moving. But like,
the pettiness in me is excited for the moment that I also, this is a weird, man, I'm weird, man. Sometimes I enjoy those interactions, those, you're still doing it, because I know when I'm going to hit that point, I'm going to hear back from some of these people, and it's going to be so good to ignore them. Oh, I'm going to see the message. I'm going to left it as unread. I'm just going to jerk off and like, so I have this like balance with it that I've been working with. How much time do we have left?
We have 5 minutes.
Do you want to just cut it? I know that Harrison says what's black and hard, and then says JK. But I guess, do you want to just wrap up and say, like, just remind it, like an EP coming out on the 25th?
Okay. Yeah. So, man. Okay. Actually, last thing. So, are you coming up with a rap name? Do you have one?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, then we'll just sum up everything that this episode was about real quick. Just to remind you guys, by the time you see this, it should probably drop, because this is gonna probably go up Saturday or Friday, and it's the 25th, which means it'll probably come out Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah. So this Thursday, the Thursday before this episode gets uploaded, or if you're watching this in live time, this Thursday, literally April 25th, we're dropping an EP called A to Z. It stars me, Zero Remsen, and Aaron Chates. It's produced by Drove by the Key. It's a lot of great songs. Some are very heavy. Some are like fun. We go back and forth. There's some stuff the producer's throwing in there. We got some fun bits. There's a little jokey feature that's in there, and we have this track that, fingers crossed, we get some banger people on. But if it comes down to being me and Aaron, then it'll still slap regardless. So again, keep your eye out for that. This has been A to Z, the podcast. Join us next time we do this live. Or if you don't catch us live, which, we're still not to a total schedule yet, you can find us on Buddy System Comedy on YouTube. You guys, Buddy System Comedy, episodes 1 and 2 are already up. And so, have a good whatever your life is doing. All right. Any final thoughts?
Bye, Lisa.
Bye.